Welcome, everybody. It is the Paul Rodriguez Show coming out of Studio 44, that is. Welcome back. It is the 18th of May, and the May showers are upon us. If y'all don't know, gosh, dog, I think it's raining all over the United States, especially the Midwestern Indiana through Nebraska down to, through the Kansas, through Oklahoma down to Texas, because gosh, dog, there's just a bed of storms. Tornado warnings till like 9 tonight.
Do you want me to bring up that map of the U.S. behind you? Like a, weatherman green screen?
Hey, man. Well, we should probably get a green screen, right? That should probably be the next, thing. We've upgraded the lights. I'm sure y'all appreciate the new, illuminated, not Illuminati, but illuminated.
You better be careful with that.
We'll start talking about jibba jabba. The jibba jabba. Dude, did you see? I watch McAfee's show religiously. I like him. He's entertaining. But he had on a Netflix football coach who was on Last Chance U, Jason Brown, JB. And, he's had whatever people have said about him. But have you ever seen the Last Chance U's, any of them?
No, I was waiting what is Last Chance?
So
I've heard about it, but just...
So it's basically, it's been 3 seasons, I think 4 maybe. Anyways, it was basically a film crew from Netflix creating like their own original content, went to a certain junior college, Juco, and they filmed at East Mississippi Community College for 2 seasons. And they kind of documented what they did. And then to make a little bit of a change up, they went to Independence, Kansas. Well, that's where Jason Brown got like his head coaching job and was turning them around. And, they actually had some high profile athletes. Like this past season, Rakeem Boyd, the running back, he was originally committed and played at Texas A&M, but went through some things, had some more deals, had some challenges, was able to like turn around his career. And after he left Independence, Kansas, he got an offer to go play at Arkansas, which he parlayed that. And now he's an undrafted free agent signed with the Detroit Lions. Another notable player, Malik Henry, he was like a 5-star kid. Jimbo Fisher recruited him to Florida State when Jimbo was there, had some challenges, went to Independence, tried to figure some things out, and then went on to play at Utah. And I think right now he's probably trying to figure out what he wants to do because he didn't get selected in the draft and he didn't get signed as an unrestricted free agent. So it's basically a documentary on JUCOs for, guys who are trying to make it. And it's like their last chance. And so they, just paid it Last Chance U because it's a university. Yeah. But it was fun. But Jason Brown's a character, man. He's like he's a hooligan, but he's a profane man who doesn't apologize for nothing, who will tell you how sorry you are if you're being that sorry. And he's been able to have a lot of credibility because of what he's done. Like, I think he's produced like 25 NFL players that he's coached and developed. So he has a little bit of credibility what he's talking about. He's putting 25 dudes in the league. But he's no nonsense. He's unapologetic. He'll call you a slapdick if you're being one. He has a little ranking on, basically where you are in the hierarchy. And if, you're too far gone, he has a certain term for you as well. But a dude's dude, a man's man. Jason Brown is that dude. And he has his own podcast. I forgot what maybe it's called the Slapdick Podcast. I think that may be what it's called. Yeah. But
what's his name?
He is highly entertaining. Yeah. Jason Brown, Last Chance U, it should pop up. And he's been able to parlay some of his notoriety into like, entrepreneurship. Like he has his own like line of whiskey, line of cigars, line of pit bulls and all that kind of good stuff. But the dude's from Compton, got out of there, had a daughter, raised him as a single father, and now he's trying to, make it in the internet world like we all are. But I got to see that interview. It was fun. It was like 30 minutes too. Like he didn't want to get off the air. It was really fun to kind of see that interview. So
Slapdick Podcast.
See, there you go. That's what it is. It's so hilarious.
Like he just talking about, this guy's a character and all of that stuff for some reason.
But it's really who he is.
Yeah.
I say a character, but that's really who he is.
Yeah, I was just reminiscing for some reason on the I've never gotten your opinion on like what you thought or what you think about like the XFL. Like
When?
when it
Back in the
debuted.
90s?
Yeah, with what was it? He Hate Me.
Yeah, he hate me.
And then them trying to bring it back and all that stuff. What's your opinion on the XFL in general?
I'll give a short opinion, and that may be a segment we kind of bring up to talk about. Maybe we'll get into it later, or maybe on Thursday. But that's a really good question. Overall, I mean, I was a product of the Attitude Era and the era in the WWE or WWF back then, and I was in junior high when Stone Cold came out and The Rock and all these bands of characters. And when the XFL was going to come out to put on a football program, I didn't really know what to expect because football was still real new to me. Just getting into it, especially at the junior high level, but kind of as you moved forward and you got to kind of see it in hindsight. Once I was into my late 20s, early 30s, I was really able to kind of see the good things that it produced. And one of the things the NFL stole was the sky cam, basically that camera that flies around on top, hovering over the players on zip lines. That was one of the innovative technologies that kind of came out of the XFL. Of course, it folded. Then they tried to have a, revitalization a couple of years ago, and of course that folded as well with pretty much not having the money to pay their players and coaches maybe a market salary. But I don't know. I think with The Rock purchasing it with his production company and his ex-wife, now business partner, maybe it'll be competitive. I don't know. We'll see. But the one thing that's the NFL has kind of done to kind of combat that is they've launched the Spring League, which is a lot of the former XFL players and AAF, which was trying to compete with the XFL a couple of years ago. And they've kind of turned that the Spring League into a developmental type of entity similar to the XFL, but nobody has college football beat, man. Nobody's going to beat college football. You have all these players who are going in and going to multi-billion-dollar organizations, if you want to call them that, but the universities who basically have the Power 5 schools have nearly all professional style amenities and can recruit these players to come to their schools and produce high-end content and high-end football value while they're playing on Sundays and really not get compensated for it. Hopefully that'll change pretty soon. I think that it's only fair for people to make money off their names and likeness. How they're going to divvy out the money, how they're going to divvy out the rules and get all the breakdowns between Power 5, mid-majors, FCS, and then Division 2 and Division 3, and then the HBCUs as well. So however they're going to figure out the rules, that's for somebody else to decide. But I really hope that they can expedite this opportunity for the football players to, be compensated off of who they are, what they represent, because they can't even have YouTube channels. Have you ever heard of the YouTuber D-Storming?
No.
So D-Storming was a kicker who he was playing at a school in Florida, and he was basically being investigated by the NCAA because he had a very popular YouTube channel, and it was monetized.
He had a side hustle.
So he was making money on the side while he was a collegiate athlete.
Jeez.
And the NCAA said, no, you pick one. You want to continue to kick? And he was an NFL prospect. He had an opportunity to be looked at to go to the next level potentially. And he decided to put more of his time into being a YouTuber. He actually came to Austin in 2019. I went to go watch Pflugerville Conley and Bastrop. And he was out there hanging out with what's his name? He plays for Texas now. But shout out to Demetrius Gardner-Webb. He was Demetrius Gardner-Holmes. He was one of the running backs that was out there, and there was another guy. He's a DB for Texas. God, D, I'm sorry, bro. I remember your name, but I can't spit it out this time. Anyways, when we get into the break and come back, I'll give you the shout out for sure. But yeah, man, he just walked in like he's very unassuming, 5'8", 150 maybe, and he has his camcorder, and unless you know who he is, you're just thinking, oh, this is another teenager.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you can. What do you think if you document your whole collegiate career, in college,
as long as it's not monetized,
and then say you just stash it, you have all of this stuff, and then you start producing content, which you make it to the pros, you think they'll be all right with that? Or they'll be like, nope, this is during the time that you were under, you know.
Is it released while you're still a student athlete?
No.
Then I don't think they have a problem with it. So you're saying basically document your student athlete career, and then once you go pro or you graduate, and then release it. Yeah, I think that would be fine.
Which, I mean, is cool, but it's not like it would be cool for someone who obviously like has the talent to go to the NFL and is like, you know, going through the journey. It would be cool to be like, hey, follow me through my journey.
There are players who are doing that right now. What they do is they call it like a day in the life. And what they'll do is they had recorded like themselves their senior year in college, basically going through, you know, workouts, like waking up, going to workouts, going to class, going back to, you know, the training facility, get some work done, watch film, warm up, go to practice, and then come back. And then they'll do it the same thing, but it'll be like with them in the NFL. And it's totally different because the training work that they're getting, like these NFL guys, and these aren't the Tom Brady's, these aren't, you know, the Dak Prescotts, these aren't the ultra well-off football players, but you know, you'll have a receiver or a DB, like they're going to go get treatment, and their treatment is like a IV, like a plasma IV drip. And so they'll basically go into this wellness center. They'll like take their blood out like through dialysis. They'll pump oxygen into their blood and then put it back into their system so they recover faster. And, you know, that's just, but it's very posh, you know, very chic into these little wellness centers. It's not like, you know, you're waiting in a weight room for 35 minutes. You walk in, very spa, cosmopolitan, you know, very chic and all. But if you got the money to kind of have that kind of treatment, by all means, you got to put it back into your system because you're the asset. The athlete is the asset to produce the money.
Yeah. It's kind of what we were talking about yesterday with Conor McGregor and all that.
Yeah, this is not how I expected the first segment of the show to go, but it's going a lot better than what I had planned, which is pretty cool. First 20 minutes into the show, let's take a break real quick. If y'all don't know, shout out to Enzo's Cheesecake Emporium. Check out the cheesecake video that we dropped today. Shout out to producer James for getting that edit done. Looked very good, man. Very good audio, very good quality. So shout out, props to you for getting that out and then sharing it. We'll have him in the studio when we're doing the Cheesecake Challenge. And I think we're still debating. If y'all are watching the show live, put it in the comments. Would you want to see the Cheesecake Challenge done live or gone through the post-editing? Y'all let me know. Live or edited. That's kind of what we're going to put.
Can I put my vote in?
I don't care.
Live.
There you go. Got one. Of course you want to be live. We're going to break. Come back. Welcome back, everybody. Let's get into the NFL. Ran across an article today basically outlining the dark horses for MVP. We did touch yesterday on Dak Prescott and Bucky Brooks claiming that Dak could potentially have a MVP run this year. And an article popped out saying Dak Prescott, outside of the top guys, your Patrick Mahomes, your Aaron Rodgers, your Tom Brady's, Lamar Jackson's, one name that was left off that list that we'll talk about, he kind of came in ranked last in this list, came in ranked 9th. If you can guess who he is, put it in the comments below. And if I see it there, because I can see the comments on my monitor here, I'll give you that quick shout out. But as we move forward, Dak Prescott was the number 1 dark horse in the NFL by this article, claiming that with the firepower Dak Prescott has, being 100% healthy coming back, he has to be the best option for Dallas. 1, to win the NFC East crown, because they only have the second easiest schedule in the entire NFL. 2, he has a plethora of weapons he can get the ball to no matter who's covered, as long as you get the ball out quick. And then of course you have Ezekiel Elliott, the ultimate, security blanket for a quarterback throwing out of the backfield outside of a tight end. I don't think we really got that established yet. I don't know if it's going to be Jarwin. I don't know if it's going to be another guy, maybe a free agent. I hear Ertz out of Philadelphia is on the skids, so he would be a good contributor. Maybe they can get him in as a veteran on the cheap.
But they got him on the trading block or what?
I think he's just disgruntled. I think he's just not happy with the direction Philadelphia is going. In division, they did a trade with Dallas in the draft. Why not do a little in division trade for a tight end asset? Why not give Dak a little security blanket? Knows the division well, in Ertz. I think that Philadelphia did steal Dallas Goedert a couple of years ago up from underneath the nose of the Dallas Cowboys. That's who they were targeting a couple of years ago, tight end. I don't know. Maybe they can get Jerry. Hey, Jerry, I'm just saying, if you need help in that GM department, let me know, brother. I get happily help you out for a nominal fee, of course. But Dak Prescott, man, I think that a lot of people are going to be surprised at his production this year. He can't get all of his yards and numbers in the garbage time. It can't be late in the game when they're down by 10 or 20 and trying to make a comeback. What he needs to do is get out ahead and then let Zeke run the ball a little bit so he can pad his stats, but get the numbers up early. Get out in front of a team. It's just last year, man, their defense was so bad that they just had to kind of catch up on the offense. It's their only saving grace, until Dak Prescott got to his injury. Andy Dalton didn't do much better faring after that, so we'll see how it fares. Andy Dalton, what's shitty luck for him, right?
Yeah. Goes
to Chicago. Oh, Andy, you're our starter, number 1 guy. Oh, yeah, by the way, we're going to draft Justin Fields out of Ohio State. And
by the way,
he'll probably beat you at the number 1 spot.
Yeah. By the way, can you go pick up Justin Fields from the airport?
Yeah. Go ahead and make sure his baggage are safely secured in the back of your truck.
Better than Green Bay. They at least called him. Let him know. All right.
Well, if Aaron wants to have a Super Bowl or an MVP season with a Super Bowl, I don't know. Is that the litmus test? Like, what's going to be the litmus test for Dak? What does Dak have to do? He's definitely got to win the NFC East. Definitely, right?
No doubt.
He's got to have 10 wins. I think he's got to have 10 wins. Shout out to Papa Romeo saying Dallas will be 10-7.
Yeah.
I think they'll be 11-6 personally. But I think they could go 12 wins.
I was going to say whatever they win, they got to make the playoffs. But they can't make the playoffs with the record that the whole NFC East, right, is what it is.
What do you mean the whole NFC East?
That's their division, right?
Right, that's the division.
So you know how they were just all trash, like this past year,
right? So
you can't win. I was just saying, you better make the playoffs. Fuck what your record is. You better make the playoffs.
They'll be in the playoffs if they win the division, which that's a must. So they win the division, they're automatically in. If their record is good enough, maybe they get a bye. But they'd have to have like 12 wins to get a bye, in my opinion. But we think they'll be 10-6, 10-7, 11-6, maybe 12-5, in that range. But they got to have 10 wins. So it's kind of like the checklist. Division title for Dallas, 10 wins or more. How far do they have to go into the playoffs? Is it the NFC Championship game for Dak to get the MVP? And here's the other half of it. If Dak's going to be the MVP, What if Tom Brady and the Bucks are 16-0, 17-0 going into the playoffs? And when they meet, that would be 2 games. So there would be 19-0 and Dallas would be 12 or 13 and whatever. Do you give the nod to Tom because he's undefeated? Or do you give it to Dak for coming back off a grotesque injury and leading the Dallas Cowboys, America's team? We're going to the Super Bowl. While everybody over there last year was boo-hooing.
Okay, well, if you want to present...
That's the thing.
Okay, well, if you want to present that scenario, I'll ask you this. Before that happens,
okay,
who wins week 1?
No, that's easy. Tampa Bay wins week 1.
Okay.
Papa Romeo's saying Dallas is winning week 1. But I'm going to tell you this, and I want to be very clear. The team you are in week 1 is not the same team who you are in week 17 now.
For sure.
They're not the same thing. They're very different. Look at what Tampa Bay was the first 11 weeks of the year last year. And look where they ended up as the champion with Tom Brady throwing while being inebriated, tossing Lombardis from boats to boats. I'm just saying. But here's the thing, that let's get back to Dak Prescott. How far does he have to go? Does he have to be in the NFC Championship game, or does he just need to have 1 win in the playoffs?
So when you ask how far does he need to go, is that like for what? For his contract to be
for him to win the MVP.
Oh, okay. So
That's
for him to win
we're
the
on MVP right now. In your opinion, because that's what Aaron did. Aaron won the division last year, balled out of control, went into the playoffs and dominated. And in my opinion, 2 plays away from the Super Bowl. One, the play that the Green Bay defense gave up before half, and that 4th and nonsense drive at the goal line. Those were the 2 plays. One's not Aaron's fault. Actually, both of them are not Aaron's fault, in my opinion. Because if Aaron, hypothetically, we'll get back to Dak in a moment. If Aaron waves off the kicking team and fails, it's his fault. But let's think about this in hindsight. Hindsight's 2020. Aaron knew, okay, you don't want me to have the ball in my hands on 4th down. I'm gonna let you kick it. And if we lose, it ain't my fault. You didn't let your MVP get a shot with 4 downs. So coming back full circle to Dak Prescott, does Dak just have to get to the NFC or the NFC Championship to be the MVP? The logic has to say yes, because that's what Aaron did.
Yeah. I mean, and then also, we got to see how everyone else is playing as well. You know,
granted, but if Dallas is 1 game away from the Super Bowl, the media and us will be losing our minds.
True, because
it will be the hottest topics going, and especially if it's Tampa Bay and we're running that boy back, or we're running that thing back from week 1.
Okay,
but listen, if Dak Prescott is going to be the MVP, he's got to take on Tom week 1. Week 11, he's got to take on Patrick Mahomes at Kansas City. You're going to have to go through the playoffs, and if Aaron's in Green Bay, you're probably going to have to take on the Packers. And you better hope damn sure you're playing in Jerry World and not in Lambeau. What happened last time? Dallas went 13-3, played Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau Field, first round playoffs. What happened?
Yeah.
Dallas took that what?
They took that L.
They took the L.
Yeah.
You better secure as many wins as possible so Dak Prescott can have a comfortable environment to ball out in. Let him have the controlled environment of AT&T Stadium, Jerry World, to play in front of Post Malone, Postman.
So let me ask you this: like, are you sold that they can reach, the NFC Championship?
Say that one more time.
Like you honestly think they can reach the NFC Championship?
Are you asking me? Are you asking me if they can do it? Yes or no? Or are you asking me, do I believe they can do it? Because there's different qualifiers. Do I believe on paper they have the players to get there? Yes.
Okay.
But the question is, how well do they play together? How well are they going to take that coaching?
That's what the NFL season is.
How well are they going to be able to perform in stressful situations? Will the coach give the right call in situational football? Will the right call be made instead of going for 2, we're going to go for 1 so we don't get burned later in the game? Are we going to punt when we're inside the 50 of our opponent and it's a game that we're on the road and we're playing the Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs? Are we going to punt? Or are we going to go for it on 4th and short? Those are the types of instances that are going to determine victories and losses for Dallas.
Agreed.
Get off my damn soapbox real quick, like.
What was it?
But yes, look, I believe, man, if Dallas goes to the Super Bowl, I still won't be content. I still won't believe it. But I'll tell y'all something right now. Let me tell y'all something right now, though. I talk a lot. I'm very critical. I am hypercritical of the Dallas Cowboys. But gosh dog it, if they put a ring up, if they go get a ring, and they run through Seattle, Green Bay, the Buccaneers, and the Los Angeles Rams in the NFC, they beat all those teams, and then they go on the road or they go to the Super Bowl and they beat either, in this order, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Cleveland Browns, the Baltimore Ravens, or that's pretty much, those are the only top three. Maybe the Steelers if Big Ben stays healthy. Maybe the Steelers. But I think Cleveland's winning the AFC North, personally. But back to Dak Prescott, I mean, I think he has a great shot to win the MVP, especially if he can knock off the Buccaneers or the Kansas City Chiefs. And gosh, if he beats both of them, and they're 12-5 or 13-4, it's, how do you not give it to him? He wouldn't even have to go that far in the playoffs, I think. It would already have been decided because he would have knocked off those quality opponents.
What do they consider? Like, what is it based on? Isn't it? I thought it was just the regular season.
Well, just look at it literally. Look at what they were with Andy Dalton. They were 6-10. With Dak Prescott, if they go to 13-4, you obviously have to see the big number. I mean, that's the difference. The difference is Dak Prescott and being an MVP. The other half of it is the star on his helmet and the marketability that Jerry Jones, the juggernaut salesman that he is. It would be stupid for them not to give it to Dak Prescott. It would be stupid of the NFL not to do that, to sell that. They would run that promo of Dak Prescott making a highlight reel, and they'll probably even snip it in him with the postman, little wow when he's looking up at Jerry Jones and Post Malone. When he wins it, they'll be like, wow. That's just what I picture. My mind goes into that marketing brain, and I'm like, Jerry has to thought about that. He's like, hey, I'm gonna bring Post Malone in. We're gonna get this new series here. We'll get the schedule out, and we'll have Dak and Zeke. Dak will look up, sing a lyric to Post Malone's song, and gosh dang it, if he can get an MVP and I get to the Super Bowl, we live in large once more. Jerry, come on, man. I don't know. I hope for the best for all the Cowboy fans. But I will say this, week in and week out, I will be identifying everything I think is wrong with the Dallas Cowboys personally. Because I just don't. It's going on 30 years since they've been in the Super Bowl. 30 years. That's almost as long as you've been alive.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's some kids who don't even know that the Dallas Cowboys were relevant. It's like before Dallas was relevant in the 90s, all the older people, the people who are now in their 50s and 60s, it's the same thing. It's like Dallas wasn't relevant until the 70s, the early 70s before. 20 plus years. 19, maybe 19. But now it's going on 30. Granted, it's a new league. It's a new everything. Cap here, limited money. Everybody shares a certain amount of cap. All this money's moving around and such. So, but I hope so. I sure hope so. I sure hope Dak Prescott wins the MVP, and I sure hope Dallas goes at least to an NFC championship. And then Shannon Sharp, this and that and going on. And I'm like, now you just take your Hennessy, go take your cigars, and go somewhere the hell on. Same thing for Stephen A. Smith. Just keep it moving, sir. Just keep it moving. That's all I got to say. He does that little Grinch laugh. I'm like, Stephen A., what's gonna happen when, listen, this is the thing. Just think about this. Michael Irvin a couple of years ago just going off in that set, sweating up a storm. What happens? What happens if they're in the NFC Championship game? Michael Irvin's in there, teeth grinning, forehead sweating, Miami-Dade County repping. He's just going to be going off about the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones. And Michael Irvin's one of the biggest Jerry Jones cheerleaders I've ever seen in my life.
I used to send that to my girl every Monday morning. It felt like literally every Monday morning.
When they lost?
How about them Cowboys?
Who was that? Was that Skip?
Stephen A.
Oh, Stephen A. Did he have the cowboy hat on? Yeah. And the cigar?
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Like the camera would like pan over to him and he'd be there and he's all like.
The worst ones are when he goes on like IG Live right after, like, if they've been up, like if they were winning the whole game and then they just like let the bottom fall out, he'll just get on there like, Dallas Cowboys, I'm breaking, let them let you down.
Yeah.
They'll let you down.
He'll be like, y'all thought y'all had it.
You thought
y'all had it. But I'll tell you again, how about them Cowboys?
He loves to hate them. Yeah. But hey, man, it moves people.
Yep.
Let's just touch on it real quick. There was 9 people listed on that rank. Number 8 was Myles Garrett. Guess who number 9 was? I talked about the guys who are at the top: Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson. We could probably put in Deshaun Watson up there too. And if I didn't say Patrick Mahomes, him as well. Number 9 was, and I think there's a lot of disrespect in this one. Personally, I thought there was a lot of disrespect. Was Russell Wilson? He was 9th. He was 9th. Yeah, you're gonna put those 6 guys ahead of him that are probably well known, and then you're gonna rank everybody, and you're gonna put Russell Wilson after a defensive end. Yeah, 9th as a dark horse MVP.
He started off having an MVP.
He was the MVP leading.
Yeah, he was
last year.
I agree.
You think this is like a bias? You think whoever wrote this article is like, I don't like the Seahawks, I'm putting last?
Very well possible. I mean, I never really liked Russell Wilson, but I've grown a respect for him.
He's a comeback kid.
He's an amazing player.
Comeback kid.
Yeah, he's very good. I mean,
but he's running into the same situation as Aaron Rodgers. All he's got DK. DK's the first real weapon he's had over 6 foot.
Who's the other one over there in Seattle?
Lockett.
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 Yeah. You're right.
Lockett.
Yeah.
But they're like 5'10".
Yeah. Lockett was good for it. I mean, it was him and DK, more DK, but like I had Lockett on my fantasy team last year.
Yeah.
So he was producing.
I just thought it was disrespectful to put Russell Wilson 9th.
For sure.
I'm just saying, for me.
Defensive player ahead of him? Come on, man.
Myles Garrett, cracking people over the head with helmets.
Yelling.
What did he yell?
Oh, no, that was Mason Rudolph, right?
Come on, man, yeah.
Yelling,
now, that's not true. That's not true.
Oh, okay.
No, that's not true. I looked deeply into that. When that happened, Rudolph never said anything like that. I promise you that. Never said it.
What, like
he never said any racial slurs. No, what happened was Rudolph went after him. Garrett made his little thing, then Rudolph went to charged back at him. If you look at the replay, and Myles Garrett was like, "All right, you want to go? Fine." So he grabbed his helmet, ripped it off, and slammed him over the head. All in the heat of the moment. Look, this is what I'm going to tell people about this real quick. And Papa Romeo knows because I told him at that point. You have ultra elite athletes who are running on aggression between a whistle blow and a whistle stop. And as soon as the whistle stopped, you're telling me you want these high elite athletes to turn off their aggression in a moment, in an instant? You are out of your livid mind if you're thinking that. That's like saying you're talking to an MMA fighter who's fighting for his life in a cage, and he's running on hyped up aggression. All of his hormones are spiked. Everything, all of his measurables are off the chart, and his brain is just thinking about reacting, not thinking.
And surviving.
And he's being attacked, right? He's surviving. You're going to tell him he's got to turn it off instantly? No, bullshit. Same thing with these football players. You're not telling me. I'm not going to blame them for not being able to turn off their aggression in the heat of the moment. I get it. They're trained. We're trained. Once the whistle blows, you stop. But it's different when these guys see red.
Yeah.
It's just a lot different. All right, guys, let's go to break real quick. We'll come back in about 5 minutes, 44 minutes after the hour. When we come back, apparently Wilder's arbitrator put him in, actually selected in his favor. Fury, Joshua in jeopardy. Boxing, we'll come back. We're back. PRS show coming back, Studio 44. Had a good discussion outside of, outside of off the air, I guess we could say. Off the air, rather. Producer James dropped something in the timeline. Somebody decided to rob Derrick Lewis, the MMA heavyweight Black Beast Derrick Lewis, the MMA fighter, who's probably going to be fighting Francis Ngannou for the heavyweight championship. Somebody decided to try to carjack him, and he caught him.
So at his residence?
I think out in public, someone tried to jimmy his car door, with that long piece of aluminum and unlock the lock and try to get in and get out.
They must not have known it was his vehicle.
Think about the shock when Derrick Lewis, 6'2", 285, walking around daily, probably 290 maybe.
Big black beast,
bro.
Approaches
when this dude was probably like 5. He wasn't 6 foot. The dude, the culprit, the alleged carjacker. And just think when he gets his hand on you. Just think about when he gets his hand on you. It's like that. It's gonna make you want to fall. Think about what happened. He's seeing this guy try to jack his car. And he probably doesn't say anything. He's just running. He's probably running after this dude, grabs him behind the neck, and probably gives him some rehabilitation, we'll say. Some rehabilitation in the form of a fist and maybe a couple of elbows.
Did he fuck him up?
Dude, let's put it this way. Nobody can really tell by the photo, but there's a photo of the alleged carjacker being put into a cop car. And he was wearing, and there's it looks like a bandage on his head, like wrapped around his head. It looked like white cloth, but it could have been like a do-rag, or it could have been a bandana. It could have been, but it looks like a bandage. And so you got to ask yourself, what did happen? What did he do? And then Derrick Lewis, of course, being him, decided to troll it, and he put a picture of his fist. He said something like, "It feels good today," or "It felt good today," or "Justice was served," something like that on his Instagram story. But just to have that, knowing he could have demolished that dude for trying to steal his vehicle. I'm pretty sure he probably threw him on the ground, held him on the ground, calling 911. The cops show up, and then they arrested him. But just think about what he could have done, because the perp's face was not jacked up, but that didn't mean his head wouldn't. Whatever was wrapped around his head,
out of his mind.
Remember when who was it? Do you remember a year ago, J.R. Smith? There were these white kids running through his neighborhood. And they were trying to do social justice warrior, and J.R. Smith was whipping their ass. He's like, "This is my neighborhood. I live here."
He fucked them up.
He just started whipping them. He destroyed them.
Fuck with J.R. Smith.
Yeah,
put it like that.
And then John Jones, he was out there getting these kids graffiti cans, taking them away from all these kids when they were trying to vandalize. Mm-hmm. I mean, think about running into John. He's like, "Give me the can." They're like, "Here you go." It's who that guy is. You have to know who that guy is.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy too, because it's dude, you're out there fucking hard spraying with a can, vandalizing and all this shit. And then John Jones walks up to you, "Give me the can." You're like, "Okay." So you just hand it over. It's yeah, real hard, aren't you?
Are you talking about the kids trying to vandalize?
Yes, man.
I'm not saying they're kids. They're just, I don't know who they are. They're definitely they're not children. They're probably either, probably 18 to 25, I would say. But whoever that dude was today trying to carjack John Jones, or not John Jones, but Derrick Lewis, I bet you they don't jack cars anymore. Or they're going to probably wait to see whose car it is before they do all that.
You know what I would have done if I was Derrick Lewis?
What?
And I see somebody with a Jimmy by my car, I would have just walked up behind them and stood up real style and been like, "My balls is hot."
How do we know he didn't say that? How do we know? We don't know.
Yeah, true.
We don't know what happened. All I know is that it could have been a lot worse than what it was.
Yeah.
It could have been extremely devastating for that guy. Well, do you think this just popped in my brain right now? I had an epiphany moment. Do you think that the championship belt being on the line maybe caused Derrick Lewis to think twice about destroying this guy?
For sure.
It had to have, right? It had to play the part in his decision making.
Yeah, I saw him in that interview you dropped also with that. It was for the UFC, and
where he was uncomfortable with that reporter.
Yeah, and
Derrick Lewis.
He was like, "Oh,
black man's kryptonite." I'm just saying.
He was like, I saw the fight with Ngannou for, it was like 5 million or 8 million or something like that. He's like, Ngannou keeps entertaining John Jones. He's ignoring me. Like I already said, Dana White already announced the fight, but he wants to keep going back and forth with Jones. Like he's just ignoring me. But he's like, I'll do the fight for 5-8 minutes. So, I feel like, he wants to fight. Obviously, that would be.
Either way, he's going to walk away with $5 million.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Derrick Lewis is a smart guy. So he probably had that in the back of his head. Like, I don't want to get injured. I don't want to jeopardize just nothing, which is smart on his part. You know what I mean?
Fighting for world titles. Let's pivot to boxing real quick. An arbitrator for Deontay Wilder, for him to exercise his rematch clause, I believe, for Fury, was granted in the favor of Deontay Wilder. So what does that mean? That means that Wilder has to face Fury, or Fury has to face Wilder before September 15th.
Or else what?
Vacates the title.
Really?
Goes back to Wilder. So
Wilder would probably be comfortable with that too, based on all the fucking excuses.
So what?
Not going through this with you again.
What should have happened was Eddie Hearn should have kept his mouth shut. He should have kept his mouth shut about Fury Joshua until the arbitration was over. But no, just like John Jones, he wanted to play this in the court of public opinion. Well, look now, Jack. Eddie Hearn's gonna have to eat crow because he ain't getting the fight with Joshua and Fury. It's gonna be Fury and Wilder before it's that.
So when did they have the fight scheduled for Fury?
August 14th.
August 14th.
So that's got to be the new date. And everybody, this is supposed to be in Dubai.
Yeah.
Well, the prince, one of the princes over there, because they got 10,000 of them.
Crown Prince.
I don't know who it is. I don't really give a shit. Number one, whatever prince was over there said the fight is on no matter what for August 14th. But he didn't say which fight. He just said a fight.
Did he say that after they had ruled that?
That's right.
Oh, okay.
So that doesn't. So what I'm saying is maybe, and this would be huge if it could happen this way.
Make sure anything has came out about.
Yeah, go ahead and look in that
Fury.
spot while I give my little fantasy dream schedule for August. Either August 7th or August 21st, the UFC title fight between Ngannou and Lewis would go down. Either the 7th or the 21st. And in between there, we're going to have a fight, a heavyweight title fight between the Brit, the Pikey, the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury versus Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder. That's a hell of an August schedule, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Because you have those two big heavyweight fights. And I think that's another reason why Dana's been slow playing this, is because he knew that title fight in boxing was going to be scheduled on the 14th of August. And he's like, let's see what happens with the arbitration. And once that's over with, then we can figure out a date for the heavyweight title for UFC. Anything new?
So we got 4 hours ago from the Gypsy King's Instagram.
Tyson Fury.
Yes, it's him shadowboxing in the ring. And the caption is, "This is how I'm feeling right now. I'm on the inside fighting, smashing stuff up. And my next opponent is getting smashed to bits." Not naming an opponent, but my next opponent, meaning
right.
What I take from it, is that, it's kind of unclear who he's fighting.
Well, it's already been legally decided upon. So it's going to happen. It has to be Fury Wilder before the 15th of September.
Go in and beat his ass again.
He did, but what happened in the first fight if he beat his ass again?
I feel like he got him figured out.
Well, a lot of people were saying there was some plaster in Fury's glove in the second fight.
You buy that?
I'm not saying it's true.
Bro,
I'm just saying that's what people. I'm just observing and reporting. That's all I'm doing.
A lot of people on Deontay Wilder's camp. This is the guy that said.
But again, go ahead. I think I know where you're going.
That his suit weighed.
That's a bunch of bullshit.
Could have fatigued him on his way to the ring.
You're a hyper elite athlete going to fight for the heavyweight championship of the world in boxing, and a suit is gonna make you fatigued. Whatever, bro. What the hell ever. That is just straight up a cop-out nonsense. So, look, this time, Wilder, all you need to wear is a black towel just like Mike Tyson used to wear to the ring. So I don't want to hear any more damn excuses. But this time, I think it's going to be a little different while you smacking my ear.
Plaster or no plaster?
What do you mean?
They said he had Tyson Fury might have had plaster in his.
May, allegedly. I'm not saying it happened. I'm saying I'm observing and reporting. That's what we're doing.
Okay.
I'm not saying defend it. Like, he had it. He. That's like saying the Dallas Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. That's the same thing that it sounds like.
Okay.
It's all nonsense. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying that was what was claimed.
Okay. I didn't hear the keyword allegedly.
It's because you over here slurping you're drinking my ear with not hitting the mute button. That's what you're doing. Like,
Dude,
come on, man.
Also, the first fight, let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something, Joe Rogan.
Dude, the first time, it was all Fury, man. And I feel like, even though with that knockdown, I feel like Tyson Fury won.
But remember, you're having the boxer versus the brawler. That's why. Do I think the match favors Fury? Yes, he's a boxer. What's Wilder's only weapon? The right bomb, the right hand bomb. That's it.
Yeah.
It just does it clip you. And do you stay down? Again, the first fight, if you go back and look at the clock once he goes down.
Go.
No, man. If you're gonna take your stance, you got to let me have my stance.
Okay.
And so what happens is, if the clock is started once he's down, and not the official looks over here and then looks to the guy counting, then he starts the number, the ones, the twos, the threes. He doesn't make it up. That is a factual event. If you start the clock when he's down.
I know, but with that being said, also, it's kind of like in football, like whenever there's like a flag at the end of a game.
Like when Dez caught it?
Really?
I mean, just asking. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I mean.
So Dez caught it. You're right.
I didn't say Dez caught it.
That's what it sounded like.
I didn't say that.
So
the ball hit the ground.
So what were you saying?
He didn't catch it.
It was underneath his arm.
Yeah, and it hit the ground.
But his arm was underneath the ball.
The ball hit the ground.
Get back to your point.
So, I mean, you can't like fault the ref. The ref is going to do the ref's job. Just because you would have done something differently, you know, like honestly, in that moment, you think you would have been like, oh, okay, I got to count now, you know. But of course, now that it's recorded and it's being played back, and nobody thought he was going to give up. When I saw that punch and I heard it, and I've seen boxing and I've seen a lot of hits,
yeah.
And I was like, that's it, he's done. But he got up. You know,
full Undertaker mode.
Yes, full Undertaker mode. And, you know, like, I mean, the ref did his job. I mean, of course, it's going to be under scrutiny now whenever this guy, and he got mopped in the second fight. Of course, he's going to make all these excuses. When he got whooped, in my opinion, the whole fight, but then that one lucky punch, pow. And then Tyson Fury gets up and he puts it on him for the remainder of the round, which was also unexpected. I just don't see how they roll that in favor of Tyson Fury. And that's why, you know, in the second fight, and in my belief, in the third fight also, you know, Tyson Fury, man.
Now the smart money is to put it on Fury, for sure. But Dez caught it, number one.
God.
Number two, I think this will be a much more entertaining fight because I think Wilder knows this is his last hurrah. If he doesn't win, there's no point fighting Andy Ruiz. There's just not. What are you going to gain out of it? Not a damn thing. There's nothing for you to gain to fight Ruiz.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, I think he'd land that right hand on Ruiz.
Oh, he would murder Ruiz. He would murk him. It wouldn't even be a fight. I don't even know if Ruiz could hit him in the face.
He's too big for him, and
he's too tall.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
I mean, too big, too tall. What's the difference?
Well, girth, number one. Number two, there's a lot of ladies out there who would love to argue with you about that one. I'm just going to be really honest with you.
They were talking about boxing, man.
I'm just saying. You said it's the same thing, and I'm like,
We're talking about boxing. We're not talking about other things.
Well,
what do you think about when you talk about boxing?
Getting back to boxing, Andy Ruiz ain't going to be able to touch Fury in the face because he's too tall. But the point being, man, we're off the rails over here. We're just over here off the rails. Anyways, the point that I'm trying to make is if Fury is going to pull out a knockout, which I don't think he will, because he doesn't want to put himself in that much danger. He has to be he has to make sure his defense is on point like it was in the second fight to not get hit by Wilder. Because Wilder is going to be swinging for the fences early.
Yep. And if he misses?
If who misses?
Wilder.
He'll just get tagged with the jab.
And he'll be tired.
I think because he's not that heavy. I mean, what's the heaviest he went in with this that was the second fight with Fury. He was like 218.
Yeah.
I was like, he's not going to have that much lactic acid build up to where he's fatigued. That just doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. That's like saying LeBron James is going to get fatigued because he's 260. No, that dude's a gazelle. He runs up and down the court the whole night.
Before you put any bets, you might want to see how much his costume to the ring weighs.
Who's that?
Wilder.
Like I said, I'm already trying to do Jerry Jones's job for him. Do I got to be Deontay Wilder's manager now? Wear a black towel like Mike Tyson did. That's all you got to do. You're not going to wear a costume in the ring while you're fighting. Just put that bad boy on. Like, okay, here, okay, now get it out.
I don't understand that. And by the way, Tyson Fury also had a ridiculous entrance to the ring, sitting on that fucking throne, fucking having people carry him like he's the second coming of Jesus. Tyson Fury against Deontay Wilder.
Well, at least he was smart sitting down.
True. Resting up, right?
He wasn't being fatigued.
Yeah, I think he had a robe on also. It wasn't like a 50-pound scorpion mask.
So are you saying you don't appreciate those like entries into the ring, or?
No, I'm just saying that if you're going to use it as an excuse later on and, after you get your ass kicked, that it possibly could have fatigued you. Or not possibly. He was saying that it did fatigue him.
Right, but you just identified Fury by having this, like, extravagant second coming, which that's blasphemous. I wouldn't say that.
Come on, man. Who are you? Walk down to the ring, handle your business, go home. Come on, man.
Yeah, but this is a show. Like, you're just too used to MMA. I think that's what it is. You're too used to UFC.
I mean, this is a show. Whenever you're like producer James in the building, I just, hey guys. If
I bring up the Packers, you sure get a hell of excited. That's all I got to say. You start getting real touchy-feely in them fields when we bring up Rodgers and the Packers. I'm just saying.
I do like Tyson Fury, but, I mean, it was a little excessive to me. But, I mean,
For his entrance?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's like saying Canelo's entrance was, outlandish.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't. It was entertaining. What was outlandish was Billy Joe Saunders running left, running right, coming forward, coming backward, taking his sweet-ass time to the ring, playing God knows what kind of gypsy music.
What's next? You're going to be a fan of Triller? Hey, man, I can't wait to see Nelly perform.
Look, let me tell you something about Triller, Jack. Those yahoos are begging for clout. That's the only game they're in is chasing clout. They got the DeFilio girls doing out paperboy, crackerjack boxing belts to hand it out to nobodies. I'm just saying. The only reason this is like, you think Mayweather's gonna fight on Triller? The hell out of here. That's why he's doing it on his own production at Showtime, because he knows they're a joke and a half. We might as well just call these dudes Webster. What you talking about, Willis? Just saying. They're the little brother in the corner that wants to beg for clout. I'm just saying. Not on my time, Jack. We shouldn't even mention their names getting them free advertising with the DeFilio girls. And who else was it out there? God forbid, Tito Ortiz called out Chuck Liddell to do Chuck and Tito 4.
How dare you mention that fight? Did you see the
third?
No,
listen to me. Just listen to me. Tito wanted to get that thing done at the UFC. Shout out to Chael's son. He had a little snippet on this. Tito wanted to have that fight the fourth time with the UFC when you have a 51-year-old Liddell and a 47-year-old Tito. But I bet you what's going to happen after Dana White's tell them to hit the road and kick rocks. They're going to take that fight to Triller. They're gonna make it a boxing match. I bet you anything.
Well, Oscar already did that. What was it? The third?
Yeah, the third one that went their company that went defunct. They like totally went bankrupt
after that one.
That fight killed that company.
They had no business fighting.
They had no business. Yeah, exactly, 100%. But I bet you this: Triller's gonna put on the DeFilio girls and the Cheetah girls. Those girls don't deserve me to say about their real name. I'm just gonna say they're gonna bring out all this nonsense. You're going to have a drunk Oscar De La Hoya running around. Snoop Dogg going to be rolling and twisting and bobbing and weaving, and then you're gonna have Tito and Chuck fight. They're all geriatric. I'm just saying, man. Why? For what reason?
I agree. I watched it, but I wasn't. I mean, how can I say
didn't watch it.
I watched it, so I guess I was interested. Tito has a whole infused neck. Like his whole neck is just, it's just all infused together.
And I don't know if Chuck can get off the bottle. No disrespect. No disrespect.
Chuck or Oscar?
Well, hell, both of them. They're probably both belly up to the bar right now. I'm just saying, man. Like, dude, Oscar's getting a lot of heat, bro. Like Ryan Garcia, he's coming on after him. Huh?
I can see that. Oscar's getting a lot of heat,
bro. He's no wonder he wants to take his name and his little ragtag group to Triller, because they kicked him out of the zone. Whatever that other company was that totally just failed. And he's over here training like showing off. Like, dude, you're 50. Like, what are you showing your abs for? Like, if you got them, fine, but like, don't go on IG and try to show off like that. Better not get caught up in them defilios. I'm just saying.
Golden boy, man.
Golden my ass. That was nice. Those are the 90s, Jack. They ain't happening no more.
What are you training for? You training for that cheesecake on Friday, right?
Goddamn right, I'm training for that cheesecake, baby.
Let's talk about that cheesecake, man. You said you gave a bold prediction earlier.
Why are you talking about stuff off air?
Huh?
We're not supposed to be talking about that yet.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
I don't think you're gonna finish it.
I'm just saying. I mean, maybe I got an hour to finish it. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't.
You're doing it live.
I ain't doing that goddamn thing live. These folks do not want to see me get sick live. I promise you.
I'm gonna rally the troops tomorrow.
Okay, here we go. The post on Facebook and Instagram collectively, if we get 100 likes on both, if we get 100 likes cumulatively, so any combination of 100 on the Facebook post for Paul Rodriguez Show and the Instagram post, if both of them add up to 100 likes, I'll do it live. Call up your army. You got the army, right? You said you could call in the troops.
You're fucked.
Here we go.
You're fucked.
No, I'm not. Here we go.
All right.
Got you. Oh, here's the other thing too. They got to subscribe to the show.
Look at you.
Hey, I'm just saying. I'm trying to get to 100.
I saw you sweating.
I've been sweating since before that. I've been sweating since we sat down.
All right.
Okay, here we go. No.
Scratch. Here you go.
I'm going to make it easy.
Okay.
If we get to 100 subscribers, I'll do it live.
Okay.
Call the troops.
You said 100 subscribers is the post.
Well, maybe we'll make it 200 then. The whole goal is to get to 100. That's the goal.
All right.
So if we get to 100 subscribers, I'll do it live. Oh my God. But we're gonna end the show Friday and then we'll come back live. Because we can't just roll right into it.
Why not?
Because I need to breathe and drink some water.
Why can't you just do it on the show?
Because I gotta
Friday's show should be about the cheesecake.
No, man, we got stuff to talk about.
Okay, we'll talk about it while you're eating.
No.
Why not?
Because that does not seem fair to me. If I'm gonna host the show and y'all just gonna see me, what are you and our special guest gonna talk about while I'm eating cheesecake?
We're gonna commentate.
Right, but we need to produce a show first.
I got you.
What do you have?
Don't worry about that.
No, I don't trust you right now. I don't know what's going on in those gears over there. All I'm seeing is a sports show with a dark side filter. That's all I'm hearing right now. I'm like, I don't know. And my mouth's gonna be all full with cheesecake. You're gonna be like, Paul can't commentate right now.
You're gonna be hopped up on coffee as well.
You're gonna be all hopped up on Mountain Dew.
Oh man.
So if y'all don't know, we're gonna do a cheesecake challenge Friday, and I have an hour to eat it. Special guest will be in the building. We're doing the show first. I don't care. I don't give a shit what you say.
All right.
All right, guys. We're back on tomorrow. Dark side tomorrow. What's going on? UFOs or what?
No, tomorrow we're gonna be promoting this contest or first ever Texas turtle pecan cheesecake that's going down on Friday. So you need to shoot on over to Paul Rodriguez show and give him a like.
Subscribe.
But no, yeah, we're gonna be talking about UFOs. We're gonna be talking about
Chupacabras.
Bigfoots,
Sasquatch, the Yetis.
Yeah, come check us out. And we're also giving away PS5. So
yeah, they're giving away a PS5, guys. Go check them out.
Come on, man.
Dark Side of the Mic. Where can they find y'all?
Facebook and YouTube. Dark Side of the Mic. Yep.
We gotta get y'all. To Instagram.
We're on Instagram.
Y'all's clips. I think if y'all like shot out your clips, just like we need to do, shoot out those clips. Y'all get, because y'all got some funny stuff going on during the show. Especially like when producer Andrew like forgets to like toggle back over to y'all and it's just stuck on him and he's like producing. I'm like, hey, turn it back over.
Kind of like how I just did.
Yeah. That's why I said that.
Yeah, I see it too and I'm just like, I need a little clicker so that way I can just do it.
Yeah. I tell you like without telling you. Just like you caught on right there.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's the show. UFOs real?
No doubt.
You think they're real?
Mathematically, they are real.
What if we're in a simulation, though? What if Elon's just like... Boop, 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 boop.
Well, then they would be the alien, right?
What do you mean?
Like, the person controlling the simulation, you think they would be the alien?
What if it's us, like, in a future dimension or in another dimension?
So it all starts with what your definition of an alien is.
All I know is if an alien is something foreign to this earth.
Not born of this earth?
Not of this earth.
Yeah. It has to be.
Like if somebody was born on Mars and they came to Earth, they're an alien.
Mm-hmm. It has to be.
Like if we go to Mars, we're aliens to Mars. See, we're aliens.
To Mars.
But we're still aliens.
To Mars.
Any planet, we're alien.
Jesus Christ.
Gotta go check out Dark Side of the Mic tomorrow. We're out.